वेलकम बच्चों, हाउ आर यू ऑल? होपफुली फाइन एज यूजुअल. So, in the continuation of Unit 2, Current Electricity, today again we are starting our new topic, and this topic is very important regarding your board preparation. And this law you must have understood in 10th class also, but over there you have just observed the concept in the form of simple definition, but here along with that definition in detail we will prove that rule, and that is the very famous rule related to current flowing in a conductor, that is known as Ohm's law. This law was discovered by George Simon Ohm, GS Ohm, in the year 1828, where he relates the concept of electric current and applied potential difference with respect to each other. So what the rule says and how it is applied, in what condition it is applied, that we will study here, and after that we will derive the relation for the same. So let's start it. Ohm's law. Here if we assume the concept of electric current flowing through a conductor, we are again and again making the same type of figure in which we have a conductor and that is connected with a cell or battery with the help of a key. And to produce electric current in the circuit, the simple way for this circuit is just close this key, one way key K, and due to that the applied potential difference will produce positive and negative values, so that there will be some potential difference across the wire, and that start making the flow of free electrons in definite direction. So here we are assuming few numbers of few free electrons in the conductor, and they are moving in such a way that under the effect of external electric field they are moving opposite to the direction of electric field with certain speed. Drift is speed, we have already discussed it in the previous class. Here these electrons will be moving towards positive end of the conductor, making electric current I in the circuit. Now we know that the value of electric current in the circuit, it can be expressed in this way. I is charge upon time, which can be splitted as Ne by T. So clearly we can say that the value of current depends on number of free electrons which are moving in same direction. So here current will increase only when the number of free electrons moving in same direction or definite direction will be increasing, and to increase this we need more energy to bring the free electrons in a definite direction. That work or the energy will be provided from the source of potential difference, and the simplest concept for the potential difference we have already understood. It is the amount of work done in bringing test charge or unit charge or any charge from one point to another point within the electric field. So in this electric field certain number of electrons are moving under the effect of this potential difference, and according to that the simple concept, suppose just for example we are applying it as 2 volt. So 2 electrons, just for example 2 electrons are flowing in the circuit and they are making 2 ampere current. Just for example we are considering, not the exact value. Now according to the concept, if we apply 4 volt, means we are doubling the value of applied potential difference. That will cause more work on the electrons, and due to that further 2 more electrons will also start moving in the same direction. Similarly the current will become 4 ampere, means when the applied potential difference is doubled, the current is also doubled. This shows direct proportionality between the two quantities. Again further if we increases it to 6 volt, means we have tripled it, or further we have doubled it. So further 2 more electrons will be moving in the same direction and making the current to 6 ampere. So in the same way the value of applied potential difference is increasing, in the same ratio the current is also increasing. So similarly if we apply 8 volt, this current must be what, 8 ampere, but it is observed that it is less than 8, or we can say 7 or 6.5 or any value it may be. So this concept, this is the practical observation, a particular type if we perform it, and this indicates that although the increase in potential difference increases the value of current and in direct proportionality, but not always, there are certain conditions. So what are the conditions? That was given by G.S. Ohm, and on the name of the scientist we are giving the name to this law as Ohm's law. So according to this law, G.S. Simon observed that when applied potential difference increases, current increases, but that will be applicable for a particular condition, and the condition he observed is this, that the conductor must be at constant temperature, the temperature of the conductor must be same, it should not change, and there should be no mechanical stress or strain over this wire. There should be no change in its configuration. There should be no stretching or compressing or changing its cross section area or its shape. Then only this direct proportionality is applicable. So according to that, what we can write as a definition, law is there. So we will start as usual. It states that current flowing through a conductor or across a conductor is directly proportional to applied potential difference and now the important part, provided the temperature, provided the physical conditions in which we have like temperature and mechanical strain of wire remains constant. If these factors are kept constant, then only we will get the relation between I and V as direct proportionality, otherwise the relation will be disturbed. And why it is so? So that we can slightly discuss here, and later in detail we will discuss in the derivation also. According to law, that is I is directly proportional to V, and the condition is at constant temperature and mechanical strain. One more important thing here we should take care of, that whenever we are writing this proportionality relationship, always it is written in the form of effect is directly proportional to cause or inversely proportional, whatever is the relation. Whenever we are writing the type of proportionality, we have to write in left side there must be effect and on right side there must be cause. Cause is that term which changes first, and that causes the impact on effect factor. So here we are changing V first and then I is changing. It is not like that we are changing I and that it is changing the value of V. So V is the changing factor that will cause impact on I. So I will be the effect and V will be the cause. That's why we have written I proportional to V. In 10th standard, sometimes we used to write V proportional to I directly, but actual concept is I proportional to V. So similarly, in reverse we can write V is proportional to I. Mathematically we can write like this. Then breaking this proportionality, we will have equal to and a constant factor always we used to write here. And here the factor which was constant, it was given by Ohm only, and this is R. So where R is what? R is the factor which is the ratio of V and I and is called resistance. What is that? You must have understood this in 10th class also, but later on we will discuss it in detail, that factor also. This is resistance of conductor, and this is a constant factor. Constant factor is in the condition of constant temperature and constant mechanical strain. In later study we will came to know that this factor temperature and mechanical strain may impact the value of R, and that's why the relation V and I will be in direct proportionality only this condition at which the value of R remains constant. This should be a constant factor, and hence from this if you want to give the unit from this relation, we can give volt per ampere. Also on rewarding mode for the scientist, its unit is also written as ohm. The simplest and very famous symbol is this omega Greek letter. Here it is denoting ohm. Another factor, if you want to write the dimensional formula for the same will be, for V it is W upon Q. For W it is mL2 T minus 2 upon W upon Q. Q will be AT and I is A only. So the expression will be mL2 T minus 3 and A minus 2. This is the dimensional formula for resistance. Important again, and you must know how it is derived. So this is the relation, Ohm's law, which is indicating the relation between current and potential difference at the particular condition, and this tells us how the value of current will change when the applied potential difference changes. And this is very important relation. In upcoming topics it will be used in detail and broadly it is used, so very important, and hence we will put our important notification over it. 3 star means you have to take care of this, very important. You should be very careful about this. So before we proceed, you can note it down by pausing the video. So let's proceed to the next topic. Here we are going to express our Ohm's law, which we have expressed it in mathematical form. Now we are going to express it in graphical form. Here also in graphical form, to represent this Ohm's law, we have two methods. One is taking the graph as IV graph and another one is VI graph. The basic difference between the two is, when we are writing IV graph, this is the method of writing the name of the graph. The factor which we are writing first, that is the quantity expressed in y-axis, and the quantity which we are writing second, that is expressed always in x-axis. So if we are dealing with the IV graph, it means this is the graph between I along y-axis and V along x-axis. When we are dealing with this VI graph, this is the graph in which we are writing V in y-axis and I in x-axis. So whether it is VI graph or IV graph, relation is common. I and V are in direct proportionality at a special condition, obviously, constant temperature and constant mechanical strength. So to represent the direct proportionality, we have method of representing the graph in two cases is same. It is a straight line making at particular angle theta with x-axis, and here the difference between the two, that is in terms of slope. So if we are representing slope of the factor, in first case slope of IV graph, it is like equal to change in quantity in y-axis upon change in quantity in x-axis. That will be in the form of delta I upon delta V, which could be initially at 0, then it could be I upon V, and hence it is 1 upon R. That means resistance, 1 upon resistance. So another factor we can say like this: if this is the angle theta, then slope can be written as tan theta. So tan theta here will be 1 upon R, that means 1 upon resistance. So here we can say greater the slope, lesser will be the resistance. In this case, angle is again theta. So slope of VI graph, if we are representing, it is like tan theta as change in y-axis quantity upon change in x-axis quantity. That means V upon I, and V upon I we have already observed as R. So this is the expression, tan theta is equals to resistance, and here we can say greater the slope, greater will be the resistance of the case or the conductor which it could be. Suppose it is at this angle, this is the certain angle. If we are increasing it, resistance increases. If we are decreasing it, resistance decreases. But here, if we are increasing it, resistance decreases because of inverse proportionality or reciprocal relation. And if we are decreasing it, resistance increases. In this way, many conceptual questions, graphical questions could be there, on the basis of which this concept, when applied, you can solve the relation very easily. Now moving to next concept, where we have to prove this relation, why the relationship I and V are in direct proportionality at constant condition of temperature and mechanical strain, that we will come to know from the proof. So to prove Ohm's law, we will consider the same figure. The conducting wire of certain cross-sectional area connected to source of potential difference V, giving current I, certain number of free electrons are moving in it with certain drift speed Vd, current flowing in the circuit is I, and cross-section area A and length L. So for this case, if we are doing the expression of proof, let us consider, let a conductor of volume AL is connected with potential difference V, and then we can write as shown in figure. Now, using our relations which we have already discussed in the previous class, over there we know that as relation between current and drift velocity is I equals to NEAVD. Here N is number density of electrons in the conductor, E is charge of electron, A cross section area, and Vd is the drift velocity. So this we can write as equation number 1. Now putting the value of this drift velocity, expression for drift velocity Vd, it is EV tau upon ml. We have already proved this relation, and putting this value in the above equation, we will get equation number 1 is implying the relationship I equals to NEA, and this is EV tau upon ml. This is the relation. Then E and E in multiplication it will give E square. So the relation is I equals to NE square A tau upon ml and V. We have this relation N E into E square A tau V upon ml. This is I. Now we have to check how this V upon I is a constant term. So we will collect V and I in ratio, and remaining factor will be another side. So for that we have this relationship. From this we can write V upon I. If we are writing V upon I, this ml will be in cross multiplication ml upon NE squared tau A. This is the expression. And we can write this as a constant, V upon I as constant only. See the factor, here the factor m is mass of electron, which is constant always. E is charge of electron, it is again also constant. The value of n is number density, which depends on the particular material, so it will also remain constant. And now the remaining factor is tau, which depends on temperature. We have already written that in a note. L and A, length and cross section area, that will depend on stretching and compressing also. So mechanical strain if kept constant, L and A will be kept constant, temperature is kept constant, tau will be the constant factor, and M, N, A and E, they are constant as usual. So now we can say here M, N, E, they are constants. No need to take care of these factors about constant value, they are always constant. Now at constant temperature and constant mechanical strain, if we are taking this as constant factor, then we can say L, A and tau will be constant, and therefore at this condition the entire expression will be constant. So ml upon NE squared tau A will be a constant, and that constant now can be written as R, and therefore we can write V upon I as R, which is a constant, and hence we can say I is proportional to V because R is constant, and this is called, which is Ohm's law. So hence we have proved the relation I is proportional to V, and also we have understood why this R will be constant only in the condition of constant temperature and constant mechanical strain, because the factor it is making, they are depending on these two factors also. So this collective expression within this bracket, it is representing R, and hence this is the actual formula of R, not the V upon I, V and I is just the relationship. The ratio of the two will be equivalent to R, but its actual value will be obtained from these factors M, L, N, E, tau and A. Very important. This is the detailed formula of resistance which we haven't studied in the any one of our previous class. In 10th class also we have studied about this resistance, but very limited concepts were there. Here we are getting the value of R in detail. Further we can expand these factors, just like this A can be written as pi r square, or in terms of diameter of the cross section, that we will do whenever we need that. Till the time you can note down the relation. So now we can discuss about the concept of resistance, and now we are in position to give its proper definition. And the theory of this concept was started with the topic drift velocity only. Over there we have discussed this concept that whenever current passes through a conductor because of applied potential difference, that is because of the potential difference is doing work in bringing these negative free electrons from negative end to positive end. But over there, during their path from negative end to positive end, we have observed that many number of positive ions were kept in path of these electrons, and while passing through these positive ions in between their path, electrons observed problem, hindrance, opposition, resist in their motion, and that resist is giving the term resistance. So we can say it is a factor which opposes flow of current or electrons, free electrons, we can say free electrons in a conductor. This is the basic conceptual definition of the term resistance. Or another form we have R is equals to V upon I also. So we can write in this way also. It is ratio of applied potential difference and electric current in a conductor. So R is equals to V upon I, and the actual formula is ML upon N E squared tau A. This is the actual formula. From this we can have the unit, SI unit as volt per ampere or ohm. Dimensional formula we have already proved. From this V upon I, where V was written as W by Q, current is I, W is ml2 t minus 2, charge was AT and I is A only, so this becomes ml2 t minus 3 A minus 2. You can write this relation directly also if you remember this formula, otherwise you must know how to derive this. So this is the method. Type of quantity if we are dealing with, so it is a purely scalar quantity, no need to give any type of direction in this, so it is just the obstruction. Important factor, if someone asks about cause of resistance, so the simple reason is it occurs due to collision of these free electrons with the positive ions. So we can write resistance occurs due to collision of free electrons with positive ions, and this causes hindrance in their path, in their motion while flowing through a definite direction to produce the electric current, and this gives the value of resistance. We have understood from the formula also that it is depending on tau, A and L. M and E will be the constant factor for the given material, for the given metal or conductor. L, tau and I will be the factor. Tau means here it is relaxation time, but it depends on temperature. So we have to take care of factor temperature also. Length and cross section area also will affect the value of resistance, and how it affects, what are the factors, that later on we will discuss. Till the time you can note down the remaining part. So with this we are completing our today's class with this topic, and in the next class we will study about the factor resistance in detail further, how it is changing, on what type of question it is based on, or what type of question may be asked about this concept, some other factors, some other terms related to the conductor or electricity, current electricity. Remaining topics we will discuss in next class. Till then, take care. Goodbye.